Okay, everybody, welcome to Live with Mary Remer. This is episode 10. We're so glad to have you here. We have a lot of questions to get to, so we're not going to waste any time here. Let's all say hi to Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hey, Terry. Hello, everybody. I hope this finds everybody staying healthy and well.
Excellent. It's great to see you. And what we're going to do first, everybody, is we're going to follow up on a question that came in, I think 2 weeks ago, and they were our friends Elgar and Kenta. We have two English Springer Spaniels, and Elgar has been exhibiting potentially dominant behavior towards Kenta, including attacking him. But usually he emits this low growl to try and intimidate his brother. How can we cope with this jealousy? So we have a little video to show you guys, and we're going to start that now.
Just like you hear a little low growl right now. Okay? Hey, Elgar? Elgar, you behave. You behave. Elgar. You be a good
Terry,
boy,
I have
Elgar.
no sound on that video. I've seen it.
No growling.
So I know it, but
Be a sweet boy.
I don't know if anybody else can get the sound.
Yeah, the folks at home could definitely hear that.
Okay. All right. So Dave, I think that the thing is that what we have to look at is we don't really assign dominance as a word, same as alpha anymore. We talk about resources of value in context. So it might be a time of the day, which you point out, where the boys find more value in particular resources, such as the couch or lying by your feet, in this case with Elgar. And in this particular video, we see Elgar is right between your feet, and you are, I believe, on your computer, and Elgar is just practicing some intense behavior with his very direct stare at Kenta and his head position and his neck also. And we see that he's sending a message. And I think that's going on. And I don't think anything happens until the intensity ratchets up a notch and he offers a growl. And then he gets a correction. Well, in fact, you are supporting him because he's between your legs. And so you're right there saying, I am your safe haven. And I think that what we want to think about here is that's not really the message that you want to give him. And the same happens when they're snuggling on the couch downstairs with your wife, and one of them doesn't want to let the other one come downstairs or even go back upstairs. So we have to pull these areas apart, and we don't want to react to them because that doesn't really get us anywhere. And in fact, we can really actually be escalating a problem. What we want to do is manage the situation before it happens. So you were fantastic in identifying that there is a time of day, which if I remember correctly is the evening, and it's when everything is calming down, and they tend to get a little bit more edgy. So at that time, I would navigate them in different directions by being proactive. So if Kenta wants to be snuggling with Yoshika downstairs on the couch, then Elgar's upstairs in his crate with Bone, or he's with you in another room, so that there can't be any jockeying for position here. And then the same is if you're wanting to be on the computer and Elgar is going to be between your feet, such as the video shows, then Kenta needs to be doing something else so that Elgar doesn't intimidate him. But as you can see, this is fluid. These things move around throughout the day, depending on the environment and the biorhythms at the time and all kinds of different things. So I don't really like to label a dog as this or that, because everything changes so quickly, and their reactions and their language between themselves happens at such a higher rate of speed than ours. I mean, we operate in slow-mo compared to the dogs, and you really have to take a lot of study to learn how to assess. And even then we miss things. So that's my suggestion to you, is I would be very careful about where you allow the dogs to position themselves during this particular time of day or other times of the day when there could be escalations, okay, and feelings about proprietary, about spaces, people, furniture, whatever it happens to be. And I try to set up things to prevent it from even happening, so that you don't get to the point of having to put a leash on and then correct, because you're actually giving the dog one piece of information by allowing him to be in that spot. But then when he behaves in a way where he's claiming, he's like, oh, okay, fine. And he's sending Kenta a message and he amps up a little bit. And then you're giving a correction on the leash. It's sort of telling him two different things, if you will. So would you be willing to try that? And then let us know next week how it works. Also, yes, things will be very different in motion and outdoors. Because obviously there's much more space and there's environment takes over, and there doesn't have to be so much focus of the two of them on each other. So the walking and all of that is great. And it doesn't surprise me that there's possibly a role switch. There's very often is that. So let's see how it goes, okay? Thank you for your patience, Dave, and in waiting for us to get caught up to you.
All right. And hello, Susan. Hello, Nick. Nice to see that you've joined us. Thanks for your comment. Up next, we have this little dude who just does not want to walk.
Let's go. We're going on a walk. We're going on a walk. We're going on a walk. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Over, girl.
And the question is, what do we do?
Well, what we do is I have several questions here. Number one, it looks like a baby puppy, and my question would be, how old is the puppy? My next question is, how much exposure did this puppy get before you got it? So did it come from a rescue? Did it come from a breeder? Was it taught how to walk on its own without the support of a mom or litter mates or an older dog? And I think that you might be expecting a little bit too much, a little bit too quickly, but we can circle back to you if you can answer my questions. So I need to know how old, and I need to know how long you've had the puppy, and I need to know where it came from, and if you have any idea about what kind of exposure it had. That would be extremely helpful, and then I can respond more articulately.
Okay, so yeah, if you can follow up with us, I believe that's Michelle. We would love that information. Okay, my husband and I are getting a new puppy, 8 weeks. I would like to train the dog that's arriving next Friday. How do we go about that? And that is from Nikki.
Okay, Nikki. Well, thank you very much, and congratulations on your new puppy arriving next Friday. So here are the important things to know about, or some of the important things to know when you're getting a new puppy. First of all, what exposures has the puppy had in the first 8 weeks of its life? Okay, personality is well formed by 9 to 9.5 weeks. So we're looking to know what kind of socialization was had. Was it separated out from its litter and taught to ride in a car, sleep in a crate, experience novel things, surfaces, toys, different exposures to other animals? What does it have under its belt? Okay, because you want a puppy that just sort of transitions easily from leaving everything that it's known to the new family. And so it matters a lot what's been put under the belt before you get them. So I certainly would be talking to your breeder, and I would be asking those questions. I'd make sure that the puppy has been separated out and had as many experiences as possible, and certainly has been exposed to a crate by itself, sleeping in a crate, sleeping in the breeder's bedroom overnight, so it's used to that, and going in a car, having a friendly vet visit, all these things. And then when you get your puppy, the thing that you always are keeping in mind is train for what you want as an adult. Okay, they come home, they're just so cute, and they're just this big, and everybody wants to hold and fuss, and they're on the couch and they're in the bed and they're on the chairs, and then all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, well, what are we going to do when he's 100 pounds? Well, if he's going to be 100 pounds and you want him on the couch, well, that's great. Okay, and if you want him on the bed, and I know people that have put additions onto their beds for the dogs. So they'll put a single mattress and box springs down at the end of the bed so that the dogs also can be on the bed. So it just depends on what you want to have as that sort of, if you will, finished puppy into an adult. And that's what you work for. And management, support. Set the puppy up to be successful, to do the right thing, because that gives you a wonderful foundation for relationship. So that's where we're always on that track. We are putting out a puppy class that should be ready soon, I certainly hope, and you can participate in that if you like. We can get you started with a one-on-one private lesson if you'd like to do that. It's really important for you to be comfortable in setting off on the journey. Okay, you're building a lifetime relationship with this puppy, and you really want to have it be as smooth as possible. You want to be prepared for some of the ups and downs that happen, the sensitive periods in the puppy's development, all these things. So we can certainly help you with that. And I think that it's great that you're asking, and so that you can be prepared.
All right. So we're going to try a new thing. We actually had a video submission, so we're going to see if that works. If there were technical errors, I apologize, but we'll see if this works.
Hi Mary, my name's Julie, and I wanted to send a quick video message regarding my 5-year-old boxer Hudson. Over the last couple of weeks, we've noticed a shift in his attitude. He's definitely like an anxious dog, but like so lovable. And on Friday, him and my daughter were playing, and she dropped the ball, and he like mouthed or nosed her face, but it did, clip her right around the eye a little bit. Over the next 2 days, I noticed he peed in the house, and our dog has been trained for years. He's never once done that. And then I was sitting at the kitchen island, and he pooped in the house, and I was like, what the heck? You did this right in front of me. I did take him to the vet. We're going to take him to the cardiologist and everything, they decided, but I don't know what to do. And like, we love him, and he's a great dog, and it's definitely my daughter's best friend. I would hate to devastate her in any way, but do you have any help you can provide, or any idea of what I could do. Thank you. I love your show.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm so sorry that you're experiencing this. I'm sorry for you, your daughter, your family, and your dog, because it sounds to me like these behaviors are totally out of his character. So whenever we see these sort of aberrant behaviors happening, of course, the first thing you want to do is go to the vet, which you've done, which is awesome. And I think that I would imagine that they've done bloods, and you might not have those results back, and done a urine check, also done a fecal check. The next thing that you might look at is perhaps speaking with your vet about doing an abdominal ultrasound, make sure everything's okay there. And then, of course, cardiology for boxers is very important. And so you're doing a wonderful thing there. I go to a fabulous cardiologist in Plymouth meeting. She's there on Mondays, and her name is Dr. Cecile Halinsky. And she works with a lot of breeders. She works a tremendous amount with boxers. So she's at Hickory Vet on Mondays. She does travel, and she's so kind. And she's, of course, a board certified cardiologist. So I know there are other terrific cardiologists out there. She just happens to be one that I've had experience with for a number of years. So I would look there. I also would look at the physical form, because sadly, as you probably know, boxers can be prone to cancers. And so that's why I'm recommending the abdominal ultrasound. In the meantime, I would, of course, utilize safe practices. So I would be careful about the interactions with your daughter. Just be safe until some of these workups have been done and you can figure out what's going on. And you just may need to offer him the outside more frequently, again, until you figure out what's going on. So I just try to put in safe measures until you can get a diagnosis. So I hope that's helpful, and I hope you'll keep us posted on what's going on with him. Okay, take good care.
And that was a fun way to do that. So for you folks at home, if you want to send us video messages, please feel free to. We'd love to hear them. And for all you guys watching right now, we can see all the eyes on Mary, but our comment section is open, so feel free to leave us any question and we'll try to answer it. Speaking of questions, my 2-year-old Doodle Carson got a hot spot on his butt and is wearing a cone. He keeps ramming me and my friends in the crotch with it. How can I protect myself? And there's our
Oh, that's such a hard thing. First of all, have you seen the soft collars? They're like inner tubes. And, I'm sure that your vet selected this one because maybe he can reach it with a soft tube, but they work actually quite well. And you might try that, and that might save your more personal areas. So I would consider that. It takes a while for the dogs to learn how to navigate those cones. So I think that oh, the poor guy. In the meantime, I would just give him a wide berth, but I would call your vet and ask about using the soft tube and see if he thinks that would work. I would think if it's up on the base of his tail, which I think you did say, down on his back by the base of his tail, he should not be able to reach it with the soft. But of course, you would have to discover that on your own.
Sorry. We have another question that just came in off of Instagram from Sophia. Do you do training for possessiveness or dominance?
Sure, absolutely, you can, and we can most definitely help with that. Those are terms that are sort of like big umbrellas, you know, and so I like to have more definition. What exactly does the behavior look like? I love to see a video on that kind of thing, or see it in person with a dog. But yes, those things can most definitely be worked on. Absolutely.
Okay, and right here on the Facebook feed, we just got from Lisa, any way to settle dogs who go crazy with barking when they hear lawnmowers? 2 Norwich Terriers.
Okay, so Lisa, do you have a lawnmower? I'm imagining you do, and the grass is growing at a very rapid rate these days with all this rain and cool, until it got warm today. But in any event, the thing to do is a couple of things you can do. You can go at it from a couple of different approaches, but number one is get the lawnmower and let them investigate the lawnmower and have treats around so that it is actually a treat dispenser
Quick comment.
rather than a lawnmower.
She says
And
that
then
gardeners come.
What?
She says that gardeners come. It's not actually her mowing the lawn.
Okay. Tell her I would invest in a lawnmower. You can get a cheap one, okay? And or you can get a video of the lawnmowers for the sound, and then we can desensitize them to that sound when they're in the house, and then slowly when they're outside. So a lot of times in these, they will act like a tag team. So one of them will go, the lawn people are here, and the other one will go, yippee, let the games begin. Okay, and it's a mad scramble to the window, and then lots of barking. And it often is more of a game than anything else. So we have to sort of work on the game one at a time. So you can go outside when the gardeners come with some very heavy treats, cut back on the meal that they might get earlier in the day perhaps, and then start doling out some chicken, some roast beef. So when the gardeners come, it means fantastic food. But again, as I say, you do it one at a time, because it's the lead singer and the backup chorus oftentimes in these scenarios. So if we split it down to solos, we can often manage it much better. And then you can have success with one and then work on the other one and then start to bring the two together. But if you work on one, you'll find which one wants to really be the lead singer. And of course, that one is the one that you really have to work on hard. And then your backup chorus will just sort of go, oh, we're not singing today. Okay. And they're usually pretty happy. The backup chorus is usually pretty happy to get some really high value treats, so it can work pretty well.
All righty. Hi, from a behavioral standpoint, do you have thoughts on CBD versus Prozac for stressed and anxious pups? Understand that a vet should be consulted, but would be curious for Mary's thoughts. And that is from It's Lauren Meyer on Instagram.
Hi, Lauren Meyer. Well, so I think it's a very individual situation. And I think that the Prozac definitely hits the serotonin re-up intakers in the brain. And the CBD, I think, works in sort of a more generalized way. The Prozac actually, it targets a certain area in the brain. And I cannot speak intelligently or articulately to exactly what the CBD does, where in the brain it has its effect. So you'd have to speak with a CBD animal person professional about that. What I do know is that CBD is everywhere, and you have to be very careful about the quality of it because there are no regulations on CBD. So it's available in many different forms, in many different ways, in many different potencies. And I think that you have to go with a brand that has been out there for a while, that has the science behind it to back it up, and has literature that demonstrates the efficacy. And I think that that is critical. So I use CBD on 2 of my dogs, not for anxiety, for a different reason. And I found it to be quite successful. I use a particular brand, and the brand is long established, and I'm pleased. I'm pleased with the effect. So that would be my comment there.
Okay, this one came in through our Facebook Messenger, which you can absolutely use to ask us questions. What can I use as a training reward for my dog, German Shepherd Luna, who seems generally uninterested in food as a training reward? We've tried a lot of different options food-wise, used toys, release, but she loses interest very quickly in the rewards. And that is from Demi.
Hi, Demi. So the thing about your German Shepherd Luna is that I would imagine that you should be Luna's greatest reward. So I would develop some kinesthetic things with her. I might go to feeding her by hand for some small bits of behavior, and then gradually I'm going to build. I probably would want to use some drive exercises that would stimulate her inner herding drive, so that I can use some genetically resonating behaviors to find a way to get into her mind and reward. My question there is, the German Shepherd, as you know, extremely, extremely devoted dogs, highly intelligent, and a very good work ethic. So if she's not working, my question is why? Does she feel overwhelmed by it? What makes her lose interest in the interaction? What interactions does she like? What revs her engine? And how can we use those things to stimulate her to find that learning can be successful and fun for her? So I can help you. I think I need some more data. But I feel like, again, you should be her greatest resource, and you should have all the value in the world to her. So, and that comes to shepherds very innately, very innately. So I'd like to look a little deeper into that and work on connection exercises.
And guys, if you are trying to provide some of that information that Mary's talking about, we do recommend that you use video and that you upload them on the What a Good Dog website. It's whatagoodDog/connect. And then you can upload videos there for us to review. Here's a great one. I was told that a golden retriever has the reasoning capacity of a 3-year-old child. Is that true? That's from Matt.
Yeah, you know, that there's literature that demonstrates about 3 years old is probably just about correct. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then we actually have a follow-up from an older one. It's Lauren Meyer was hoping for the brand of CBD that Mary has used.
Okay, well, I use 2 brands actually. I use a brand called Bluebird that's in Colorado, and I use a brand called Mitchell's, which is local. Both companies have a lot of research behind them, as much as you can have. And they have pureness of product and a lot of efficacy. I just want to say that I am sure that those are not the only brands out there that have the research behind them, and that they have great product. These are two that I am familiar with and use. And so I can speak only to those two.
Okay, and guys, we are coming towards the end of our time here, so let me look to the Facebook, and we will take this one from Judy. What suggestions do you have for a 7-month-old pup that loves his owner and affectionately and obsessively licks arms, hands, legs, and clothing?
Hi, Judy. What a lovely thing. Okay, so the licking is about being orally oriented, and its derivation can come from different areas. That again, I'd actually have to see that. I would need to look at the facial expressions and what the lips are doing and what the ears are doing and what the eyes are doing and what the whiskers, blah, 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 all of that to really give you a definitive answer. But what I would say is, why don't you work on having your puppy pick something up and hold it in his mouth, so that he can do something with that licking behavior that brings you it brings you a joy. So I think that what happens is when we have too much licking, it becomes sort of enough already, right? And so then a lot of times these dogs they become more ingratiating, which means more licking, and the cycle kind of goes on and on. And then it's hard to interrupt it. And so I think also sometimes what we'll do is we do this often with babies, new babies coming into the house, 3 licks, and we start them on the foot of the baby. So they're down right on the sole of the baby, and it's 3 licks, that's enough, and then move on. So what I would do is I'd try to start to build value to a toy, a special toy that's not down all the time, that you're going to start to do games with, and then find games. And I would look at times of the day when licking might be a little bit more intense, and I'd try to see, well, what's going on that would make the puppy feel like he needs to offer that intensive licking behavior. And then I would try to interrupt the cycle, and then I try to deter the cycle by having the game with a toy start before the licking begins. So try that a little bit.
Thank you, everybody, for such wonderful questions. And we love having those dialogues with you. So thanks for watching the show when it airs and doing this with us. We had a great time. All the questions we didn't get to, I will make a list and make sure that they get asked in the next session. So that's going to do it for us. Say goodbye, Mary.
Goodbye, Terry. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Have a good week. Take good care. Be safe. Give your dog a cookie.